Okay, part of lesson 10 wants us to open, this is for adjusting audio in the effects control panel. It's going to have us open the excuse me timeline or sequence. So double click that one. Notice you have two separate clips in here and they have different styles. The first clip was set up to be stereo, so it has left and right combined, where the second clip is set up as mono tracks. So you have separate tracks for left and separate track for right. This gives you a different type of control. We're also going to be looking at how to adjust this stuff in the effects control panel. I mentioned that early on. You have the mixer track. You have clip mixer and track mixer, but we're actually going to do this stuff in the effects control. So highlight the clip that you want to adjust, and you're going to drop open the volume, the channel volume, and panner if it's not already. So you can see here that you have left and right, and you can make adjustments there if you wanted. Right here is our level for our volume, and the book is wanting us to set it to -25. You can do this one of two ways. You can highlight on top of the number, left click, and drag the number down to 25. Sometimes I have a hard time getting it right on 25. So your other option is you can physically type this number in and then just click off of it. Noticed when I was dragging it, this line right here is considered, the terminology is rubber band for audio clips. And as you get more familiar, it will be easier to see as it moves. But you saw visually that it just moved itself right down. The same thing happened down here, but you were probably looking up here, so you missed it. But you can see that that line is no longer right in the center. It's lowered itself to mimic where we put it. The other thing is with level, you saw that the blue dot for keyframing is engaged. So as soon as I made an adjustment, it put a keyframe into the clip, and wherever you were, it didn't matter because we were only doing that one adjustment, and that's fine. Be mindful though, if you go and move further ahead into this and you make another adjustment, you will start setting more keyframes. And if they're different levels, you can create your waveform kind of going zigzagged on it. You can also see it in the rubber band that it will reflect those changes. By adding a second keyframe, that would be a way to transition out. We've used the effect Exponential Fade before to fade something down. If you're not getting the exact results you want from that, you could try manipulating it here in your effects control as well. So that's what this one wanted to do. A lot of times if I'm only doing the one keyframe to it, I will actually clear out the stopwatch and clear all my keyframes, because what will happen then is if I come back in and decided -25 isn't what I needed, it will automatically adjust, and if I didn't get right on that keyframe, I won't be setting a bunch more keyframes. I could come in and say, oh, I need -20 or -15 and make that change quickly and not worry about my keyframes. So that's kind of my style. The book hasn't really talked about that. Maybe we'll get to it a little bit later on. But that's something that I like to do, is I would just clear this out and the keyframe then would be gone. You do lose like the points with the rubber band. You just see the plain rubber band by itself by doing that. Of course, you could always put it back in. But this way, like notice if I change this number to 53 or bring it back up to 1.4, the rubber band moves and no more keyframes is set. I didn't have to worry about that jumping around and messing anything up. But we'll put it back the way the book had it. So just a little side note on that one. The next thing it wanted us to do was click on the next clip and see it here in the effects control. Notice that you have level and you have panner, but the other thing that we had which was channel volume where it showed left and right, is not in this clip. And that's because it's a mono track and you're only affecting one at a time. So you could look at both of them by holding shift and they both, okay, it doesn't like that. So you have to do them, I thought maybe it would show both of them, but you'll have to do one at a time and you can make your adjustments. You can also pan these left to right, so you can come in and change one that way, and we'll change this one this way. So I panned one to the right and one to the left, and then you could always play that and listen to it.
Excuse me, is this seat taken?
And, you know, you can just adjust them further. Notice it's making keyframes though, so it's going to start affecting it one way or another. So be mindful of that. You may have to clear those out. Here it is one more time.
Excuse me, is this seat taken?
But a lot of times audio is you make your adjustments, you listen to it, you make more adjustments until you have what you actually enjoy hearing. So that's the difference between the stereo and mono using the effects control. So a lot of times just up here for the levels is probably where you're going to be. The panners, you don't really need to get a whole lot into those at this point. And I think we're gonna check on the next thing.